She grabbed my hand, girls rescue, met the bar, witness said, tears fled the head, I'm waiting, I guess she tweet, I guess she confessed, she thinking less, not drinking less, bathroom says, vestigate, spontaneous, our stereotype, put to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as I rise like fireworks. Smell through the bad, don't touch my perk. Nigga, that's work.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of After the Storm. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. We're talking about the Thunder Hornets game tonight. Apologize for the delay in doing the game. I was trying to get our stats because I've had several people who asked me to put up the stats that I talk about as far as threes and all that. And so I got everything typed in. I just could not make it work to get everything over, but I will fix that for the next game. That is my goal. So, but anyway, Thunder dropped to the Hornets tonight, 116-134. We got off to a great start. We started tonight with SGA, Man, Baisley, Sar, and Maladon. And my keys were very simple. Don't let them get in any kind of rhythm. Keep them out of the lane. Be patient on offense. Finish at the rim. Get a hand up in their face on three-point shots, clearly. And then, those are my keys. And then I think those are recipes for the Thunder to win or Thunder to stay in the game. So that was what I came up with. And let's go down the list. Don't let them get into a rhythm. Accomplished, check. Keep them out of the lane, check. Finish at the rim, check. Be patient on offense, check. Get a hand in their face on the shots, check. So what did that lead to? That led to the Thunder being up 41-29 after one quarter. We were 6 for 12 from three. They were 4 for 9 for three. We shot 61%. They shot 45. We had 14 rebounds. They had 6. And my PIP, which of course is the points in the paint, we were up 18-10. So now, did we get off to a good start? Fantastic. Why? Because of everything I just mentioned as far as the keys to the game. Okay? That's exactly what happened. We were patient on offense. We didn't let them get into the lane. We did not let them get into a rhythm. We got our hand up in their face. We forced them to do things they were very uncomfortable of doing. And by doing that, this is a rhythm team. They've got some players. They've got some shooters. But you got to keep them off the rhythm. You got to keep them off their spot. And all the time I've talked about keeping people off their spot. That means that getting something that our players are trying to learn how to do. What is the spot that I need to get to help me score? So we did a good job of keeping them off of their spot and keeping them off balance, which allowed us to score 41 points and only give up 29 in the first quarter. And it's simply because our defense was fantastic. We were moving. We were very aggressive. We were all over the place. Well, my favorite word is, we were playing defense by committee. We were doing all the little things that we needed to do to get the lead. And everything I talked about that we needed to do in the first quarter, we did. Thus, 41-29 lead. And we did all the things we need. Second quarter, however, we started out with Maladon, Waters, Lindy, water under the bridge, Krejci, Poku, and Sar. Now, those of you who've been listening to my live stream, y'all know that I'm not a fan necessarily of this lineup because even though, we got guys shoot, if they're making shots, that's great because they can't defend. But if they're making shots, that at least keeps us in the game and keeps us going. But we had an 18-point lead at this point. Yeah. And all of a sudden, what did I say? My keys for this: maintaining our aggressiveness on offense, and don't let them get defense. Don't let them get easy baskets. Because once a team like that gets easy baskets, like I talked about in the first part of the show, if you let a team like this get into rhythm, then all of a sudden they're making shots all over the place. They're getting to the basket. They're shooting threes. They were just going crazy on us. But, we, like I've said before, this group right here, they're just not the best defenders. But if they're knocking down shots, that we can maintain that lead. We can keep it up. We can keep it going if we can keep these guys to knock down shots. But as it turned out, we blew an 18-point lead. And it was just frustrating to watch. But I understand we're handcuffed. We've got 8 guys who are not playing, who normally would be playing. And you got to remember, with these guys, we're not going to be giving up leads. Remember, we don't have Josh Giddey, who should have been the rookie of the year this year had he not had a hip injury. I think he would have been the leading vote getter for rookie of the year. He's played fantastic this year. But as that stands, he's not there. Dort is out. Jerome, who I'm not a fan of necessarily, he's out. So what are we left with? A bunch of G League guys who, nothing wrong with that. They've given a chance to get some tape and giving them a chance to further their career in the NBA by showing what they can do offensively. Now, what I see is some guys who, like I said, if they're knocking down shots offensively, they're knocking down threes. If Lindy White under the bridge is knocking down some threes, hey, that's fantastic. If Kreshke is knocking down threes, that's fantastic. And then if they're giving drives to the basket, that's fine. We're giving up 2, getting 3 on the other end. I can go for the 2 for 1 every time. I can do that. But what I can say is, what we were doing is, we had Baisley or whomever on the baseline cutting towards the basket. And we're hitting the middle, attacking the middle, forcing the baseline defender to take his eyes off of our guy on the baseline in the corner and having to focus on the guy driving to the basket, and then we were dumping off to the backside and getting some easy baskets. I think basically had a couple had a dunk. We got a bunch of easy layups on the back door, and it's basically a backdoor cut. It's what it is, okay? But the problem is, once you keep doing that, they're going to get wise to it. You can't keep doing the same play over and over and over. And then what happened is we kept trying to do that with guys that aren't the first team guys, but the second team guys. They were getting their hands on the ball. They were attacking as they got in transition, and they got into a rhythm. And I've talked about this many times. Once a team gets into a rhythm, you're in trouble. Whether that's a team allows us to get in rhythm, they're in trouble. Like we've almost beat Phoenix. We got into a rhythm. We started rolling. Hey, I don't care. This is the NBA. You look at Phoenix yesterday. They scored 48 first quarter points against the Lakers, 140 to 111. They got in a groove. They started rolling. It was over. This is the league. Not the G League, but the league. And guys can play. And once they get into a rhythm, once they start rolling, and once they start finding their groove, it's over. I don't care who it is. The second quarter just absolutely killed us. We lost at 36-23. And all the momentum we had gained in the first quarter, everything we did in the first quarter was completely outdone in the second quarter. Were we getting a hand in their face on offense? No. Were we keeping them out of the lane? No. Were we trying to keep them in front of us? No. All the things that we had did in the first quarter that I said the keys were to the game that we started out with doing a 41-29 lead because of these things all went to the wayside. And then once they started rolling, it was over. And it was painful because it's not like they're not playing hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys are playing hard. There's no quit in the Thunder. They play hard as they possibly can. But there's a reason why they're playing where they're playing. And it's just frustrating to watch because these guys see what the first team's doing. They try to come out there and try to do the same thing. Well, you can't do that. You have to do what you can do. You have to focus on what you're capable of doing. What is your game? Apply your game to what we're doing. And what have I talked about over and over? We're not a three-point shooting team. Do we shoot threes in spurts? Yes. But once you fall in love with them and you start shooting them, you should have taken a couple bad threes. Long shot, long rebound, transitional basket on the other end will either get you a 2, a layup, or a 3 in transition. And then that gets you going and you're over. And that's exactly what happened. So the Thunder ended up being 9 of 23. So we were 3 for 11 from 3. They, on the other hand, were 5 for 10 from 3. Why? Because they got into a rhythm. Field goal percentage. We were at 51. We dropped 10 points. They're at 49%. Rebounding, 30 to 16. Like I said, I had my stats up here, and I'm going to get that fixed because I think that's very key for me to explain. I'm sitting there telling you about it, but it's nice if you could look at it on screen and for me to be able to explain it while you're looking at it. So I'm definitely getting that done. And I appreciate the person that was asking me and talking to me about that. I appreciate that. But anyway, like I said, 30 to 16 on rebounds. And then points in the paint, all of a sudden, they're 30 22. So we go from really doing the things we needed to do in all categories: 3-point shooting, field goal percentage, rebounds, and points in the paint, my PIP. That's amazing. Okay? That was amazing the first quarter. Second quarter, typical Thunder. Because we just don't have the players. And there's nothing wrong with liking the guys we have. I mean, they're nice kids, nice guys, nice young men, but they're not on the level. You can't play G League players against NBA players. Doesn't work. They can keep up for a little bit, but they're going to have their spurts, and those spurts kill you. It killed us last night. It killed us tonight. Now, what does that say? The Thunder has plenty of room to grow. I'm so excited about our team. And then more and more people are starting to come to games. Because remember, it is the excitement of the game. It is the experience of the game. Your kids love that stuff. They get to love watching Ja. They get to love LaMelo Ball, seeing these guys that they see on YouTube all the time. Speaking of YouTube, hey, well, please go to my YouTube channel, After the Storm. So that's OKC Thunder, and subscribe. And hit the like button, please. But anyway, so they kids love being able to go there. So you got to take your kids to the game because it's about the experience. When are these guys are going to be able to experience? When are you going to be? If the Thunder weren't here, how are you going to take your kids to see LeBron or LaMelo or Ja or AD or James Harden? When are you going to be able to do that? Or Embiid or the Joker? So at halftime, the Thunder were down one. Thank God we had that big lead. So we're down 164-65 to go into halftime. Now, coming out in the third quarter, of course, we started with our first group, which is Sar, Maladon, Baisley, Mann, and SJ. And like I told you, I'm a big fan of Coach D. Keeping your rotations the same. Whoever you start the game with, you start the third quarter with. So everybody knows where they're going. You kind of get into the feel of where you belong in the game when you're going in, and not knowing is a pain in the butt, except knowing, yeah, I'm going to go in at 3-minute marker, I'm going to go in at the 5-minute marker, I'm going at the 8-minute mark, or whatever his rotation is. You know what you're doing. So one of the things that my friend Mark Long noticed is that they were attacking us from the left side of the basket. I'm so busy watching other things, I wasn't watching that. But I started looking at it, and you looked at the stats. They were killing us from the left side of the basket because everything they were doing was drawing the defense in, swinging the ball one pass, that second pass, we're in rotation, and they're attacking the basket straight. And they're scoring points left and right because they're attacking from the right side. We come over, they kick it out. We try to rotate. That extra pass kills us. Because remember, you cannot move as fast as the ball moves. Teach kids that all the time on how to break the pass. Don't put the ball on the floor. Pass the ball. People can't move as fast as the ball can go. So I will look at the fact that Charlotte probably scored 80 to 90% of their points from the left side of the basket, just attacking us over and over and over. Great strategy. And, our coaches usually pick up things and take things away from teams that score a lot of points on us. They very rarely get big points back-to-back quarters. That usually doesn't happen. The Thunder are usually very good at switching up and changing and recognizing and switching defenses and switching players around to try to match whatever the opposing team is doing in order to cut down their runs. So I will say that that's one of the things I do love about the Thunder, do love about our coaches. We're really good at that. But the couple things I talked about in the very beginning when I first started doing the podcast or the live stream. Grab the ball. If the ball is there, you can't try to dribble through. Grab the basketball. You can't score without the ball. And there was a couple times our guys, I still see it. The ball is right there. They're trying to dribble through. Grab the damn ball. Grab it, hold it, look around, see what the defense is, then attack. The opposite way. You can't try to grab the ball and try to dribble. We lost 3 balls that way tonight. Can't do it. Just drives me crazy. Grab the ball. Don't try to dribble it. Grab it. Because that's key. And then, Trey Man, do me a favor. Use the glass. Please use the glass. The finger roll just does not, it's not reliable. It's not a reliable shot. It looks cute. It looks sweet. But the only person I know of in the history of NBA, or two of them, but really one, that could do the finger roll was George Iceman Gervin. He's the only person I ever see that could do a finger roll and make it work. Everybody else tries to do it. Hey, it's just not the same. Dr. J had a pretty good one himself. But for the most part, he's the only person I know who could do finger rolls. Use the glass. When you watch SGA attack the basket, very rarely does he not use the glass. He uses his length. He uses his arms. He uses his spin. But he uses the glass. Please, Trey, man, use the glass. Work on using the glass, bro. Quit trying to figure out. And it looks really cute. It looks, oh, look at this fantastic move. It don't matter. All we're going to know is you missed a shot. It goes down as a missed shot. Instead of, hey, let me just make a regular layup and go in and it scores and I can maybe get an and one. Instead, I missed the layup. Sometimes I get fouled, sometimes I don't, and they go back the other way. So please don't. It's driving me crazy with that. But I will say this also. With our starters, I did not expect them to go on a 21-8 start. And at one point, they outscored us 57 to 36. Just went on a run and they just dominated us. But it started out with that 21-8 run to start the third quarter. They had 10 straight possessions that they scored. And LaMelo Ball was 4 for 4 from 3. And let's face it, he had a couple heat checks there. But he's a great shooter. And when shooters shoot, they get to feeling it. Starts rolling. He hit the rim once. What do we say? Shooters shoot. And once they start getting in a roll, getting in the field, getting that roll, it's over. Not a lot you can do with it. But I will say this. Once again, Thunder, there's no quit in our team. No quit in our team. Thunder came all the way back, and they closed it down to end the third quarter, 91-105. We were in a lot of trouble, and these guys fought back. Loved the way our team plays. We don't give up. There's no quit in us. And from threes, it was 14 to 34, us. We shot 34 times, made 14. They were 18 for 30. 49% field goal for us, 52 for them. All of a sudden, rebounds are now at 37-26. And my most important stat is the PIP, points in the paint. 36 to 32. Now all of a sudden, we're only up 4. They scored another 37 points. So they went 36-37 in consecutive quarters on us. And it all started in the second quarter. And once they got rolling, I talked about that all day long. Team gets rolling, it's over. But the Thunder fought back, and cut it to 14. And I thought, okay, we're down 14, we can do this. But we start the fourth quarter, and he started with a different lineup, which I was surprised. He started with Kreshke, Mann, Roby, Maladon, and Baisley. So I was like, oh, okay, I see what he's doing. He can't afford to, he's got to get some guys in who can at least be long enough to play some defense. If they can make some shots, and remember, Baisley had 17 at halftime, 0 points in the third quarter. 0 points in the third quarter. Scored in the fourth quarter, but 0 points in the third quarter. And my thing is this, and I've talked about this over and over and over. I talked about it when I was coaching. And when I train kids, I tell them too. You get back in the game 2 points at a time, not 3. Don't come out trying to jock up threes. And we did that. Trey Man dragged up 2 threes right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I'm like, what are you doing? Then Maladon had 2 turnovers. All of a sudden, boom, 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 it's 94-113. Just like that. Like I said, it's all about shooting the ball, understanding, being patient on offense. I talked about it in one of our keys. Being patient on the offense and finishing at the rim. When you get out there and just because you get behind, you start matching them for threes. No, we're not a three-point shooting team. You can't do it. You can't allow yourself to get out of your game. Understand what you do well and continue that. But instead, come out, shoot a couple threes. Maladon gets a couple turnovers. Boom. SGA is back in the game with 9 minutes. I can't remember the last time he came back in the game in the fourth quarter in 9 minutes. It's usually around 6 minute mark. But 94-103, we scored 3 points. They scored 8. He was like, yeah, no, we can't do that. We can't let this game get out of hand. Even though it's 8-3, it was feeling like you could just feel the momentum just going the other way. You could just feel it. Coach T's timeout, yeah, no, boom. SGA, get in there. But I think that what I want to say about SGA and our players is when he's not normally in there with that group of guys, they tend to play around him, not with him or not through him. And it's driven me nuts watching that. It's like, dude, you got to play through him. He gets the ball first. There shouldn't be time. I mean, Kresge went flying by him. Poku is getting better, and basically they're starting to get better. Like, look, dude, give him the ball. He's going to set you guys up because all the attention is going to be on him, which is going to allow you to shoot easy, wide-open shots or cut to the basket. He will get you the ball. But when you try to go out and do stuff on your own, not going to happen. And you can just see his frustration in watching him, and you can see his frustration with it. He'll just go, boom, there they go. Whatever, go ahead, man. And you can see him getting frustrated with it. Which caused the Thunder to lose 116-134 for, I think, our 10th straight home loss. Threes, we were 16 for 43. They were 20 of 35. Remember, they started out 4 for 9 and ended up 20 for 38. They started out shooting 45% for the game, ended with 55. We started at 61 and ended up at 46. 49-37 rebounding, our way by 12. And Pip, points in the paint. We won by 2. Had an 8-point advantage in the beginning, start the game, ended up winning by 2. Steals. They had 12 steals, we had 4. Why? Trying to dribble the ball instead of catch it. Trying to run the same on offense when these guys say it over and over and over. They're on the bench watching too. They see what that guy's like, oh, that guy cuts, they're going to try to pass to him every time. They see the same thing you're seeing. Play within your skill set. I will say the Thunder gave up 32 that quarter. So they went 29, 36, 37, 32. That's very uncharacteristic of a Thunder team. We usually don't give up that many points like that, especially to a team like Charlotte. Phoenix, sure. Minnesota, sure, because we don't match up with them. San Antonio, we don't match up with them either, and we got to play them again on Wednesday. So once again, the Thunder fall 116-134 to the Hornets. Once again, I saw we had a good crowd, and I'm liking that. People are starting to go back to the games. Hey, like I said, these kids are young. Go support them. Give them some love, okay? They're a lot better than what you think. A lot of people have the same trepidations I had. Man, I don't want to go watch these guys play, man. I don't even know anybody on the team. I don't know what they're about. All those excuses you're giving up, I gave the same ones, and then I went to a game. And Randy Wright made me, hey, Matt, come to a game. Then Randy Wright had, I went to another game and another game. And I'm like, oh, these guys can play. Then people started asking me, hey, man, I'm starting analyzing the game. And they're like, hey, why don't you do an post-game analysis? That's how I got into this. Doing this post-game analysis because someone asked me to, because I had been given my opinion after the games. I said, man, you should tell other people about that. And since I have, people are starting to watch. People are starting to go to games. And like I said, if you're listening to the show and watching the live stream, and you go to the game and listen to what I'm saying, and you go to the game, you can see it, and the game will become more and more clear to you. And you'll become more knowledgeable about what's happening on the court. Promise you. Go to the games, and you'll become more knowledgeable, and you will actually like it, because the more you understand something, the better you'll like it. That being said, I want to thank everybody for watching After the Storm. Once again, the Thunder fall 116-134 to the Hornets. Great game tonight by our guys. And I want to say also a shout out to LeBron, first person with 30, 10, and 10, 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. Longevity. Like I said, Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever. Kobe Bryant, the most skilled player ever. And LeBron, the best all-around player ever. That's how I break him down. So once again, thank you for watching After the Storm. I'm your host, Matt Clark. Be safe. Peace.